Welcome back, everybody. This is Engineer Wilkie, and this is my Let's Play series of playing No Man's Sky. And this is episode 5. I know it's been a little while since I released a video, but that's been mostly because of having things going on and having troubles with recording. After the recording I did for episode 4, I did like another recording session for like an hour, and not, nothing really worked. The recording software was stuck in the stopping recording, and it just wasn't working. So I've been playing the game off camera mostly. So just to kind of show you guys, I've got a new ship. This is the ship I have. It's a Uragawa S50, and it's got 33 inventory slots. So this ship cost me like 9.3 million units, and I've got my exosuit fully upgraded, so it's got 48 slots, which is the maximum slots that you can have. And you can see I've got most of the technology mods that you can have built built on and set up. So basically we can go to any really cold planet, radioactive, toxic, or hot planets, and be able to last for a while before we would have to start recharging the stuff. So and if you notice that some of these have colored boxes surrounding them, that's because they're next to each other, so they get an additional bonus. So like these 5 here get an additional bonus because they're right next to each other. The 3 life support mods are right next to each other, so they get a bonus on top of what they do. Same thing for the jetpack. And then all these right here, or all of these right here, the hazard protection mods all have the same color, so they all get an additional bonus, and then shield boosts as well. So you can see that my protection is basically maxed out. So my plan for this episode, I've got our hyperdrive built and fully stocked and fully upgraded. So what I'm going to do for the first little bit of this episode is I'm going to show you guys little clips of each of the planets that are in this system. I only renamed 2 of them. I renamed the one that we first started on, called it Utopia, and it was a very good planet to start on because it had just about all the different types of materials we would need, like plutonium, carbon, iron, platinum, zinc, titanium, gold, nickel, and I think it also had copper and aluminum. Pretty much the only material it didn't really have was emerald, which had to be found on a different planet. So, and this was the planet that we started on. Then this was the second planet I went to, and I named it Deadtopia because there's basically no flora, no animal life, and very little with regards to minerals on the surface. Mostly iridium. This planet did have emerald. There was kind of sparse passage of plutonium on the surface. Most of the rich spots were in cave systems for like plutonium and aluminum and carbon and so on. And then these are the other 4 planets that are in the system that I visited. I didn't take the time to rename them. So the next system that we go to, I'm going to plan on renaming those and having some fun with that. And here with our journey milestones, you can see I've done a lot of walking, walked 280,892 units. I've met with 61 aliens. I've learned 415 words. I think the Korvax language probably has around 410 words. The others I know are from the Atlas language. Then this is the most units I've had at any one time, 9,396,004 units. That's why I had built up to buy the ship that we've got. Haven't gotten into any dogfights yet. The system's been fairly quiet. I have destroyed 40 sentinels. They tend to kind of get in the way, especially if you're destroying too many materials. Haven't spent any time in any extreme conditions because none of the planets that we have were considered extreme. Haven't warped anywhere yet. And then I've discovered all the animal lives on 2 planets. There's 2 other that have animal life. One, I'm still missing 1. And the other I'm missing 3, I believe. So I won't be spending time on camera trying to get those. I'll do those off camera. So hop into our ship, and this is where I'll cut and show you a short little clip of each of the planets in the system before we head off to our next star system. And welcome to Utopia. So, you guys probably remember from the first few episodes of this planet, because this was the planet that we had started on. It's a fairly lush planet, very green. It's got these green grasses with some blue intermixed, and very mineral rich. I've spent a lot of time on this planet exploring, finding drop pods, which is how you gain more slots in your exosuit. And just about every time I come and land here, there's like a new waypoint that I find that I have not been to yet. So like this spot where I landed here, I haven't been before. And there's a fair amount of animal life on this planet as well. You can hear the sounds that they make in the background. So let's go ahead and mark this area as discovered really quick. So this is a place that I'll come back if I need to find certain resources, since I know this plant has majority of the available resources that I know that's available. So we're going to hop back into the ship, and we're going to head off to the next planet, which is going to be Deadtopia. We'll see you guys there. And welcome to Deadtopia. So, as you can see, this planet is quite barren, pretty dusty. There's a few plants around, like these mushroom-looking plants, these little illuminating plants, and little bits of plutonium here and there. But that's just about all this planet really has. There's some iridium deposits, and there's also some emerald, and there's a bunch of little cave systems as well. So I've spent a good amount of time on this planet. You know, there's some emerald right there. It looks kind of like gold, but it's got kind of a green tint to it. And that's how you know it's emerald and not gold. And that looks like copper or nickel there. So this is the extent of what Deadtopia looks like. So we're going to head back down to the ship, and we're going to head to the next planet. We'll see you guys there. Alright, and welcome to the next planet, Saredo. So, as you can see, this planet's got some radioactivity, 6.5 rads. So we have to have some radioactive protection. And this planet's got some creatures, some kind of interesting looking creatures. This planet has an abundance of carbon and iron, and there's a bunch of gold and aluminum on this planet as well. It looks like we got a little waypoint beacon here that we can activate and save. Luenya Lowlands. So this one was actually pretty nice to explore. There's a lot of plant life. It's pretty green. There's some nice hills and caves to explore. There's a lot of iridium and gold deposits on this planet. Let's grab some plutonium over here. Just so that we can refill our launch thrusters. It's got some of these interesting looking planets that are kind of like geodesic spheres, which is kind of neat. That should be enough plutonium. So let's head back to the ship, which is over this way. And we're gonna head off to the next planet. We'll see you guys in a bit at the next planet. Alright, welcome to the next planet. We're on Vez Ono Major. So, and I believe this was the first planet I got to that actually had any bodies of water. And this planet doesn't have any conditions, like there's no excessive radiation or heat or cold, but it does play a little havoc on the life support, so it drains a little bit quicker than on some of the other planets. This planet's got some creatures on it, like this little guy here. Kind of interesting, big fat front legs and tiny little back legs. And look kind of like rabbit ears on them. So just show you guys what it's like being under the water here, which was actually kind of cool, coming down and checking out what it's like underwater. The water on this planet has kind of a red hue or tint, and there's some underwater caves that you can go into and check out. A lot of this stuff gives you iron. There's a couple items that will give you carbon, but majority of it's iron. Oh, looks like those were the last creatures I needed on this planet. No, I was missing 4. Now I'm needing 3 more for this planet, so that's cool. They look kind of like large tadpoles almost. It's kind of interesting. You can tell that the color is changing because it's getting dark outside, so it's kind of cool. day-night cycles that they have on this game. Those are all the same species. Alright, let's head out of the water. So at night, the sky's got kind of a green hue to it with some purple out in the distance. Yeah, so this planet doesn't have a whole lot in the way of plant life up on the surface, like Utopia or the last planet that we were just on. Alright, where's my ship? Oh, it's right there. So far on most of the planets, the creatures I found have been mostly neutral or non-hostile. On this planet, I think I came across one that was hostile in the water, a fairly large creature, and I think there's like one or two other species on land that are hostile, but all the others aren't. Alright, so this was planet number 4. So we're going to head off to planet number 5, and we'll see you guys there. Welcome to planet number 5, Dayshirt Hifan Agbao. So as you can see, this planet is somewhat barren, kind of like some of the other planets. These floating deposits are copper, and it's also a bunch of little floating half-geode looking islands all over the place. And this planet also has bodies of water, and the water on this planet is actually clearer than the other one, because the other one had like a really red tint. This one's more of a little yellow tint. So things seem to be a little bit clearer under the water. And there's a fair number of cave systems on this planet as well. And there's a fair amount of life. There's a little bit of aquatic life, as well as creatures that live on the land. It's just happens to be where I landed. There's not very many creatures around. So that's what this planet looks like. Let's hop into our ship. Need to refuel the launch thrusters. And we're gonna head off to the 6th and final planet to show you guys. So we'll see you guys when we get there. Alright, welcome to the final planet called Hafnagram Obsk. So as you can see, this planet's kind of barren as well. Blue colored ground. And it's nighttime right now, it looks like. So it's actually kind of cool, kind of warm for this time of day, it looks like. So there's, I think that's aluminum, not gold. Yep. So there's aluminum, copper deposits all around on this planet. Little bits of plutonium. And this planet doesn't have any animal life as well. So this planet and Deadtopia were the only ones that don't have any animal life. The other 4 do. So that's all the planets in our first star system that we started in. So let's hop into our ship. Let's refuel our pulse engine and our launch thrusters. And let's go ahead and recharge our life support as well. Alright, so let's head off up into space. I like how you can fly to and from the planet seamlessly with no loading screens. And let's break up a couple of these, get some more thaumium to power, so we'll have some extra fuel for our pulse engine, which works off of thaumium. Alright, that looks good. Alright, where's our space station? Alright, set to the space station. So we're going to go to the space station, jump off to save our game. Then we'll head out space station and go to the galactic map and see where we're going to head to next. So I'll be back with you guys in a second. Okay, so we just got done at the space station, landed, saved, and then came out. So let's hop to our galactic map. So currently we're in the Rumian Pinding, the 17th system, in the Quintillion region. So this is a GAP system with 6 planets. So I'm assuming that this yellow line that you can see going off here to this system is the path that the Atlas wants us to take. So this would be the next system that's 39.9 light years from us. It's a G9F with 5 planets. Sorry, Suzerainico. So let's head to this one and see what we find. Engage our warp drive. Don't know how long this will take. I'm assuming probably a few seconds. So don't know what we'll find. It's possible we could end up jumping in the middle of a battle, maybe count space pirates, or maybe a very calm system that has 5 planets. Oh, looks like we're coming out. Oh wow, there's 3 large ships that just came out of warp. Interesting looking ships. So there's the space station there. Why don't we head over to the space station really quick? So, oh, can't activate our pulse engine because we're too close, so we'll just boost over. We'll land and see what we have here. Looks to be kind of similar to the space station in our first system. So let's jump up here, see what we find. Ooh, it's a different kind of structure, interior. It's kind of cool. Nice little window here. See what the galactic terminal has. So, shooting sheet, power reservoir, dynamic resonator, suspension fluid, zinc, iridium. So, there's these Atlas. Oh, wow. That's a lot for one Atlas stone. 5.7 million. So, I've heard that we're supposed to have supposedly like 10 Atlas stones that are needed once we get towards the center of the galaxy or center of the universe, whatever it is. So we'll be gathering those up as we progress. So looks like nothing really special that's available through the galactic terminal. So what does this store require? V3 Atlas pads. We currently have a V1 that I gotten while on one of the planets in the first system. Apparently most people get the blueprint for the Atlas V1 pass when they encounter their first space anomaly, but I haven't encountered a space anomaly yet. So let's see if we can go through the door on this other side really quick. Boost up here. Yep, we can. Let's see what we have over here. So this is for upgrading your exosuit, but we can't interact with it because we have the maximum number of slots on ours. You can harvest carbon from these plants. This requires a V3, so looks like that's about it that we can do here. So let's hop down to our ship. So let's head to this first planet, Lanoigus. We'll rename this system and the planets to names that are easier to remember and easier to pronounce. Engage our pulse drive. And for one thing, if you guys haven't noticed, if you haven't watched any other videos or streams, that you technically can't crash your ship. So I didn't do anything, it automatically leveled me out and adjusts the altitude. So I can't actually crash into the ground. So far this is kind of an interesting looking planet with these kind of floral type looking trees. There's a deposit down there. Let's see if we can find a waypoint. There we are. Let's go to this waypoint here and land over there. Oh, it's a trading post. Nice. Not a bad place to start off on a new planet. Let's land. So, fiery planet, hot, low security, copious flora, and medium fauna. Let's go see what kind of alien race this guy is. He's definitely not Korvac. Selsgak Bundugagu. So right now I know like no words of the Gek language. The small creature is busy adding up trade profits when I appear. Its eyes open wide in anticipation of our first contact, and it rubs its fingers together greedily. It pecks empathically at the monetary figures on its pad, then bounces up and down. I can't help but notice that it smells amazing. Why don't we give it 10 units? We can spare 10 units. The life form is clearly thrilled. It gives me something in exchange. So, I'm assuming that most of the technology we'll come across we'll probably already have. So you can see that our temperature protection. We've got those three kind of circles with the flame symbol in the middle. That's the 3 levels of protection I've got on me, so we can last out there for quite a while. So we got a galactic terminal there. So let's hop on down and start scanning some stuff. Too far away to scan. Let's get a little closer. There we go. First planet. Ooh, emerald crystals. Let's get some. Emerald is usually sells pretty high per unit, so it's good to stack up on some emerald. Oh, here's our first animal on this planet. It's fearful. Looks like it's got kind of a raccoon-looking head. Actually, no, that's more like an owl head. Weird. Strange looking thing. I'll work on coming up with names for these creatures that I come across. Sounds like there's probably another animal somewhere. Well, it looks like there's a fair amount of resources around on this planet. So I'm going to spend a few minutes looking around, scanning stuff, and when I find another creature or something interesting, I'll bring you guys back. So we just found another creature. Eucopod irriteru. So these are kind of fearful little creatures as well. So let's see what else we can find. We'll be back when we find something interesting. Oh, look at this guy. It's a docile herbivore. Come on, I want to look at your face. Come back here. Wow. That's pretty interesting. A crazy looking thing. It's probably a good thing it's afraid of me than I am of it. I jumped over something that looked like a just a siren. Oh, that's weird. Huh, crazy. Oh, we got titanium crystals on this planet. So, I'm probably going to call this good for this episode. So today we just kind of did an overview of our first starter system, what each of the planets were like. Just kind of brought you guys up to speed on what I've done, getting my exosuit upgraded. Now, I didn't get a ship with a full upgrade number of slots. I figured it would be a little bit better just to kind of work on trying to find a ship, a bigger ship along the way. Because I've seen in other videos and screenshots of all kinds of different styles of ships, so I think it'd be funner to try to find a ship that would look kind of cool, and also it'd be nice to find one that we don't have to spend a ton of currency on to get, because from what I've heard, for some of the ships with the max number of slots, which is 48, they've been anywhere from like 12 million to, like, I think someone saw one for like over 100 million units, which is like insane. So probably my plan for the episodes moving here on out is probably each episode would be spending time on a single planet, and then once we've explored all the planets in the system, then we'll go on to the next system. So like with this system, the next episode will be exploring this planet mostly, kind of giving you guys highlights, what we find out when we go to the monoliths and encounter some different aliens as we learn more of the language. And also some of the crashed ships that we may find, some of the creatures that we find. So this system, from what I remember, has 5 planets. So this, I'm going to see how it's going to work with this system. So the next 5 episodes will be exploring the 5 planets in this system. And not all the systems are going to have this many planets. Some systems will have 1, some will have 2, and some systems may even have moons with the planets. So we'll see how things go. And with that in mind, I probably will do an episode maybe twice a week. It'll depend on how much time I spend exploring each of the planets. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed and you want to know when I release a new video, then hit that subscribe button. And I thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.